Ladies and gentlemen, and all genders outside and in between, this world is a world of darkness, and there may be some subjects that are quite triggering.
As our coterie separated, both mingles and investigates the crowd currently gathering for Elysium, CT has wandered over to the last place that Demeter was seated, and discovering propping up the saucer of a half-empty teacup, the thin gold clasp and wrist fastening of Saoirse's watch. Looking up, he can see the translucent and familiar figure of Dimitri frantically waving, and although desperately screaming, he makes no noise from the doorway. CT, what do you do?
I take the cup with me. And are the others near me?
You spot Bing Bing without too much difficulty. That sort of flash of bright pink hair in the crowd is relatively easy to spot. It'll take a little bit of looking, but it won't take you long to find all of them.
What about Romi? Like just
Romi,
like
yeah.
basically my plan is to basically stand on the chair that D was sat on and just look around and try and find the people I want.
Okay. You will see the rest of your coterie. Romi is not present.
Cool. Is there a sec? Because I'm right by the main entrance, aren't I?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to spook everybody for what's going on at the moment. But I need to get all of their attentions very quick. Oh, god damn it, CT. So, is there another entrance to where I am, or am I the only entrance?
It's a big open room. So there's the one way in and out, and there's sort of like what you think must be a sort of service door down the end, because the only people that seem to be going in and out of that are the mortal attendants.
Okay, cool. I'll jump down and quickly grab the others and be like, right. Hey, hey, Bing Bing, Bing Bing, Bing Bing. I think we've found our friends. That's great. You two, hi, how's it going? Yeah, I got something that I need to talk to you about, Coterie business. It's all great. Oh, by the way, I found the tea supplier. And then just take them straight over to where Demeter is.
Okay.
We don't need tea.
D's in trouble.
Oh.
But already?
Yeah, Demeter is literally there. I can see him. He's waving and screaming, and nobody else can see him because you're not meant to. It's really impolite to use any kind of disciplines inside the Elysium. So
all go though. What if this is a trap like last time?
Well, I mean,
probably
we don't have to save her.
We should. We should absolutely save Dee.
All right. We should go save her. Let me just make sure I've got my. Okay, yes, I've got it.
We got it. Got what you need. Right, let's go.
Some of us should stay behind in case something happens up here.
But
can you speak to the dead?
It's not supposed to be.
I'm not staying alone.
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
and you want to go see D. You want to save D. But
of course,
if we don't all go, I mean, they're not supposed to have any violence in the Elysium anyway. I think everyone's gonna probably be okay.
They should be okay.
I don't think Liam follows Elysium rules.
Yeah, but if there's all of those guys and girls there, I think they'll be okay with one person. They're not going for them anyways. They're going for
Fine,
D and
fine.
Romi.
Lead the way, CT.
Let's go. With my little mug.
I haven't punched anyone in a while, so let's do this.
They had
No
sessions.
violence at Elysium.
We're going outside.
Yeah.
No violence around Elysium. No attracting
Oh, okay.
attention outside of Elysium.
That's true.
No violence.
You're right.
All 5 rules.
The violence might be
CT.
brought upon us, all right?
CT, you're headed for where Dimitri is
Yeah.
stood.
Yeah.
Okay.
In as subtle a way as CT can manage.
Okay.
As awkwardly and stealthily as possible.
Bing Bing's just gonna walk like normal.
We're not too far behind.
Okay. You you notice that the journalist you'd been speaking to is kind of intrigued by this movement that's happening, and you note her kind of clock that you're with 2 other people, and she sort of like and like turns to sort of like gossip furiously with the person stood next to her. But other than that, you guys all seem to sort of manage to pass relatively unnoticed.
I want to give her like a wink before she turns away.
Perfect.
Just goading her on now, huh? All right. I like that.
CT, as you approach Dimitri, you can see sort of the relief on his face that you've noticed him. And he barely waits for you to get close before he starts like leading the way. He heads straight off down sort of beside this room towards the service door. And heading out of that, he leads you into, it's a sort of similarly damp, dark and neglected concrete space, cold, unheated, but not filthy or anything like that, just bare. He ushers you forward without any kind of word notice, and down the corridor a little way until you reach a large metal door with 4 glass panels in it, sort of like a kind of small window near the top. Dimitri charges straight through the door.
Through this door.
If the trap's gonna happen, this is here.
Yeah, it's true. 110%.
Yep.
I'm
I'm gonna put my hands in my pocket and grab my brass knuckles and just make sure they're on.
Okay.
pull a drumstick out of my pants.
Just hands in the pocket. Bing, bing. We're good. We're good. Just hands.
No violence.
I'm just.
No attracting
I'm
attention.
cold.
No violence.
It's all right. The whole building's full of
We don't
vamps
get
and licks
cold.
anyway.
We're
So
vampires. Why doesn't anyone understand that?
it's fine.
Who is at the door itself? Close enough to look through.
I was leading the way, so I would imagine.
Yeah, I'm right
probably
behind.
me.
Okay.
Peer through the little glass.
Okay. CT, as you look into the space, you see a kind of dusty and, in some spots, rusted, empty space. It's a long kind of brick construction, at the end of which are two very large furnaces. One is shut, clasped. They're sort of like these old leather handles that sort of squeak as you go to shut them. And the smell of this kind of damp metallic is seeping underneath the door. The furnace on the left, however, is open. And a white shape is discernible from where you are looking. The figure of Dimitri is stood by this furnace, frantically scratching and pounding at the metal, although of course it makes no impact. And turning back towards you, CT, he lets out a long, anguished and silent scream.
Ah, fuck nuggets, if it's a trap, look after me! I'm just gonna charge through and just try and fight the beast's fear of fire and
Okay.
drag whatever might be left of potentially D.
As you sort of barge your shoulder against the door, it becomes apparent very quickly that it has been locked.
Brute strength it.
Yeah, when I
Okay.
see that, I'm gonna help. Going through, and I
Yeah,
try
we're
to,
through.
I go for a kick. Just
Okay.
kick through the door.
I'll have an assisted strength and brawl roll from you guys then. It will be at. Let me have a look at some difficulties for you. Who has the largest strength and brawl pool first?
My
CT, what's yours?
strength
got
and
6.
brawl +1 is 5, so it'll be his plus potence.
5 for CT, and how much for Finn? Sorry.
6.
6. Okay. So Finn, if you'd like to make this roll, remember, of course, that you do also have the option, if you would like, of rousing the blood and adding an additional die to that roll.
Bing Bing can also help. She has also strength and brawl.
Perfect. You can take another. You can take another dot for Bing Bing's help.
So is that? Am I rolling 8?
I believe you're rolling 8, and that will be at difficulty 5.
Okay. Godspeed.
Finn,
Can I do this?
you as all of you sort of slam your weight against this door, the sturdy construction of it becomes apparent very quickly. It doesn't shift too much, but you do notice, Finn, the distinct creaking of a rusted hinge near the top of the frame that seems more ready to give than that near at the bottom. The second thing you notice as you slam into this frame is that the lock at the handle level has been jammed. Something has been crammed into it and snapped off.
Okay.
While the three of them are sort of slamming against this door, I need you to make me a check, please. Could you roll for me your wits and investigation?
I'd like to also, after she does this, I'd like to kick at right by the where the lock would be, so that I can
Okay.
break through the.
Okay. You are able to sort of take a look over into the room as the three of them sort of like shuffle together to try and shunt this door open. And a couple of things are apparent to you pretty quickly.
I can
First
see
is
through the door as
through
they're
the glass.
okay.
There's like a glass
Oh, okay.
pane towards the top. The first is the furnaces are not lit. They're cold. You don't feel any heat coming off the door or the room, which is a good sign. The second thing you notice while you're sort of assessing this space is the large, heavy iron pipes that line the hallway. This furnace room clearly at least was the central heating of the building, which leads you to your third recognition that is a little more unnerving to you. You can see through the panel to the left of the door, there is a kind of like display that tells you what the presets are for the heating in the building. And you clock with a kind of sickening feeling in your stomach that the heating is due to come on in exactly 10 minutes. Guys, you have real-time 10 minutes to get Demeter out of the furnace. What would you like to do?
I'm going to use
gotta
Aura of
hurry.
Decay on the door.
We gotta hurry.
I'm going to use Aura of Decay on the door.
Okay, Bing Bing is going to use Aura of Decay. CT, what are you going to do?
I am going to. The windows that were in the doorway, are they big enough to climb through?
No, they're sort of like it's a partition, like a window, four
Yeah,
small
in which
panes
case
that give
I'm going to
one.
be helping Finn just try and crack the locks, just smashing against them.
Okay. And Finn, you wanted to aim a kick specifically at the lock. Okay. Well, is there anything you'd like to do to try and help them here?
Is there... We don't want to try to draw too much attention, but is there time to try to find a key? Like maybe just calmly walk through the crowd and see if I can find someone who has a key?
I think it was
Is the
broken
door
off in the
jammed
lock,
shut?
was it not?
Probably not. Okay.
Yeah. is jammed.
All right.
Okay.
Keep an eye out. Keep an eye out for people that might be trying to fuck us while we're doing stuff.
Yeah, because I don't know how else to help, so I'll just keep an eye out.
Okay. What we'll do then is, Bing Bing, we'll resolve your Aura of Decay first, because if you succeed, you will lower the difficulty for Finn and CT to break the door. So if you can make me please that rouse check, and that it's your stamina and oblivion, isn't it, that you have to roll then? Perfect. At difficulty 3. You succeed. Wonderful. With that one margin of success, CT, Finn, Bing Bing has lowered your difficulty to break this door down by 1. Okay. So we'll do the same roll again. It'll be strength and brawl, but your difficulty this time 4 successes. Wonderful. You, Finn, with this sort of guidance that you're able to give and with the additional power from CT, are able to send this door crashing backwards. The lock that Bing Bing has managed to decay has sort of crumbled into rust and not a lot else. And so this well-planted kick sends the door open without too much difficulty. What do you do once you're inside?
Look for wards immediately.
Oh, yes.
Okay. CT wants to look for wards. Finn, what are you going to do?
Gotta be honest, Finn would not think about that, so he's gonna go straight. Does he see D inside? Like.
Well, you all go through simultaneously, and we're dealing with simultaneous resolution. So you'll see CT pause, but not necessarily know what for at this stage. Although you do know him well enough to know that he does usually check spaces immediately. So I'm happy to leave it to your decision here.
I'm gonna go straight for D if I see wherever D is.
Okay. Finn heads straight to D. CT begins to look around the room. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna see if there's any way, because I was the one who saw the preset, right? The 10-minute counter or whatever. I'm gonna see if there's any way I can stop that.
Okay.
Stop it from turning on.
Okay. And Bing Bing, what are you trying to do?
Bing Bing's gonna rush forward with Finn.
In that case, let's resolve your check first.
Okay.
I will need you please to make me a wits and technology roll at difficulty 3. Failure. As you sort of look at this panel, you sort of just are baffled by what's in front of you. There are so many numbers, and it doesn't seem like there's actually any dials. It's difficult for you to tell if maybe this is a touch screen thing. And as you tap against it, nothing really seems to happen. CT, you are using Sense the Unseen to look for wards, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's like an initial glance.
Yeah, okay. You don't notice anything as you look around the room. It seems bare. What you do see, however, is Dimitri's increasing distress as he sort of like almost seems to try and tug at the form within the furnace. Finn, Bing Bing, you race forwards towards Dimitar, and as you approach, you notice 2 things instantaneously. The first is Dimitar is in torpor. Her head lolls backwards from the furnace, eyes staring glassy at both of you, and she is unmoving. The second, she is bound. The third, she is secured in place by 2 metal spikes. The first is impaled through her chest, the second through her hip.
And there's no door to get to her? She's just...
The door is open.
Okay. Fudge.
With my medicine, can I see
those things away?
Yeah, if we pull those out, would she die? No.
She would not. No, being kindred, she wouldn't. The stake that's driven through her is what's keeping her in torpor. So you know, all of you would recognize that by pulling the stake out, she would become animate again.
But would she not go straight
is there
into
a way
frenzy?
to pull that out, or is it kind of like locked into place?
It doesn't seem to be locked. You could pull that out.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay. Finn is pulling the stake from her chest. Bing Bing, what are you doing?
Bing Bing's gonna help lift her out
Okay.
after he pulls it.
I'll remind you here that you saw a second stake driven through her hip.
Her head or hip?
Hip.
Hip. Okay.
What is the significance of that? Can I decay that away?
You can try. It is, however, far enough away that you would have to at least lean into the furnace to do so.
There's no way to lift her out of this, off of the stake. It's just like in her. Can I pull it out?
Would you like to try and lift her?
I'm gonna just pull the stake out.
Okay. So Bing Bing is going to, you're going to sort of partially climb in to remove the stake from her hip while Finn removes the one from her chest. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. What are you trying to do?
Is there no other... I'm just like, I'm incapable with technology or anything. Like, can I look for like an override? Is there some main fuse box? Can anybody who has technology help with that, or?
Yeah, can I help with that if I know what
You would have to abandon what you're doing with Demeter to help them with the.
I can give it a try. Can I use like a willpower or something to?
You can try and, yeah, absolutely. You can give me another technology roll, and if you fail it, you can willpower it, certainly. Bear with me just a second. We'll check in with CT, and then we'll come around and do all of the rolls. CT.
I'm going straight for the other furnace.
The other furnace?
Yeah, the one that's closed.
Okay.
I just want to open it and have a look inside.
Okay. Let's start with Bing Bing and Finn. I need you both, please, to make me your strength and brawl rolls, and this will be at difficulty 4.
Can I argue that I'm doing it fast and therefore dexterity instead?
No, unfortunately. Remember, you do have the ability to blood surge and add extra dice. So if you would like to rouse and add extra dice to your roll, you can.
Difficulty what?
Difficulty 4.
Oh.
Okay. Bing Bing tugs the stake free from Demeter's hip. Finn, you also managed to pull the stake free from her chest, but I need you to give me another dice, please, for that compulsion. Hunger compulsion. As you pull the stake free and see the vitae clinging around the edge of it, you become aware of hunger. We will check back in with that properly in a moment. Would you like to make me your wits and technology roll, please?
Sure, wits and technology. With the difficulty? I have also
difficulty
willpower
3.
damage. Okay.
Okay. Would you like to willpower?
Sure.
Okay, give me that roll.
Do I just click the button?
Click that single dot.
Okay.
No luck. As you try and hammer at some of the buttons, it just seems like it's not doing what you want it to do. The times shift a little, but it doesn't turn anything off. CT, as you look into this second furnace, you see nothing. Ash, brick, the sort of clinging black of soot around the edges, but nothing else.
Go straight over and try and help them get D out of the furnace.
Okay. Finn, as you pull these stakes free, Demeter gasps and struggles against her restraints. What would you like to do?
It's out, right? I'd like to carry her out.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, at exactly 9 minutes and 15 seconds, you pull Demeter free from the furnace. And as she sort of thuds to the floor, gasps, and begins to try and come to her senses, you hear the click and whoosh of flames. The furnace ignites. And Dee, looking at the furnace and then back at you, says, "Well, I suppose I owe you thanks again. Thank you."
You're welcome.
How did you allow yourself to be caught like this, Dee? Please.
I didn't allow anything. We have bigger problems on our hands right
Where's
now.
Romi?
Yeah,
Yes, precisely. He has plans. You asked me who it was that Saoirse and I were planning to resurrect. It wasn't us. He was interested in the ritual, not our intentions with it. He's bringing someone back. So if you don't mind, I think we better go. And she's sort of straining against her restraints to try and free herself.
I'm gonna kind of help her get out of that and hold her up so we can.
Let's
Who
walk
is
and
he
talk,
resurrecting?
Dee. Who's he resurrecting?
She looks up at you all with a kind of saddened expression and holding her hands out, Bing Bing, to you for assistance in standing. She quietly
stand up.
She quietly mutters, "He seems to think he can bring back the touchstone we killed. But he's been in the afterlife for quite some time, and they rarely manage to keep their sanity, shall we say, when they've been in the beyond for that long. So I'm not expecting this to go well.
Are you talking about a wraith?
One other
Okay.
small problem. She, standing, begins to make her way towards the door.
I follow hastily.
I'm feeling a little weak and thirsty. Bastard drank my blood. And she sort of like leaves the room and
Oh, not again.
out.
So he has
least-
perfect capability for these rituals.
Well, it seems he needed the knowledge, and that was the first step, and now he has further steps. So all the careful work that Saoirse and I have been doing, that he managed to get his hands on, he's now capable of doing. So I really...
D. Focus. What clan is Romi?
She's Banu Hakim.
Okay. I'm going to turn to Demeter. I'm like, do you know where she is?
She'd be outside, awaiting the prince's arrival.
Guess where we're going? Let's go and let's go have a John outside, shall we?
Okay. Dee leads you all hurriedly, but with an almost comical switch in demeanor. As you hit the main room, she slows and sort of with hasty small steps across the room, nodding politely to people as she crosses the room. She turns to you, Bing Bing, and hisses, "One of the best things about Elysium is to make sure that nobody really knows what you're actually worried about." And she laughs and sort of smiles and nods and goes, "Oh yes, very good, Bing Bing."
Yes, it is comical, isn't it?
She leads you all straight out of the room and back towards the office room that CT and Finn were conducting roster in, and she goes straight towards the window to look outside. I need you all, please, to make me whatever is your best observation roll. For some of you, that may be wits and awareness. For some of you, that may be intelligence and survival. We'll go around one by one now and just take a look at what we think is most likely for your character to be looking for. Bing Bing. A 6 success messy critical. What pool are you rolling?
I rolled, and it's the same. Wits and awareness.
Wits and awareness. Okay. I need you to give me one more dice, please, for that compulsion. Okay. Bing Bing, we will resolve exactly what you have seen in just a moment. Finn, 4 successes. What were you rolling?
Wits and survival.
Okay. M, what's your observation of choice?
I guess wits and awareness. So only this.
Okay. And CT.
With Sense the Unseen,
Okay.
Wits and Awareness.
Okay. We'll start with M, with 2 successes on Wits and Awareness. What you see as you look out of the window over the grounds where Demeter is looking is a sort of large open green with a building towards the center of it. It doesn't look like it's particularly well loved. Some of the paint is sort of peeling around the edges a little, but it seems to be sort of through disuse. It's a familiar structure. It's kind of like it's almost like a large shed that some of you might recognize to be a cricket pavilion. It's like a storage place of sorts. The thing that sticks out to you, other than that, is a sort of shadowy form across the green, although it's difficult for you to make out exactly what that is. CT, with 3 successes and your heightened senses active, or was it Sense the Unseen? Sorry.
Sense the Unseen.
And with Sense the Unseen active, you look across this area, and something else specifically occurs to you. You see much the same as M. You see this structure. You see a shadowy figure towards the corner of the building. But the shed itself, with your vision active, is glowing. Finn. With 4 successes on survival, the thing that is most apparent to you is that this building is only really observable from the side of the building you're on. And to anybody who knows that this is going to be the site of an Elysium, that this is going to be an area that the kind will be avoiding for tonight, knows that this is an ideal spot for an ambush. And as you notice this figure at the corner of the building, you see them sort of push against the door and walk inside. Bing Bing. With 6 successes and that messy critical, you would recognize the site of a ritual on any given day. And this is no different. You notice the thin wisps of incense drifting between the cracks in the windows. And the beast inside your mind laughs. Who is this man that thinks just a taste of your clan's blood makes them capable of achieving what you can achieve? You are under the effects of a dominance compulsion. Until you have taken the opportunity to win at something and gloat about it, you will be functioning at a 2 dice penalty. What would you all like to do?
Anybody? That's him. It's got to be him.
Yeah, and the shed that he's in is all ritualized and stuff. It's glowing and all kinds of shit.
Do we go for him?
Performing a messy ritual. Let's show him how it's done. Bing Bing leaves.
I go with Bing Bing.
Bing Bing! Dimitar, could you go over and just have a look at what's going on? Like, what kind of thing we're looking at here? Are we talking about crazy barriers and stuff like that? And feedback to D and shit, let's get after it. Fuck.
Bing Bing straight up is making her way to the shed, not stopping, completely like, how dare this little man think he could do what I do in my sleep?
Is Romi still nowhere to be found? We're assuming she's there? Or...
I think she's the sacrifice.
She's probably, yeah.
Okay.
I think she's the sacrifice.
There's no violence in the Elysium, but just outside of it.
We're outside. Just outside. We're fine.
Just outside,
D,
yeah.
Tell me, these rituals of yours, did they require a sacrifice?
D looks at you with kind of a wide-eyed panic and just nods.
Did they require old blood?
Not, blood isn't really specified.
But they might have needed a vessel?
Yes.
Now, quick question. Is there any rituals that you know of that can rip a soul out of a vampire?
They are old magics and we don't talk about
We're
those.
talking about the ministry combined with the knowledge of Tremere and a taste of a little bit of Hakata. Are we talking shit that this guy might know?
It's possible, but I'm not sure we've got the time to debate it. She turns.
No, let's go. Come on.
Okay. You race down towards the building. Bing Bing is at the front. M, what are you doing in this moment?
I'm running after everyone else.
Okay. As you all cross the rain-dampened grass of the green outside, the heavy scent of incense hits you pretty quickly. And the sort of wisps that CT noticed up in the office become more apparent to all of you. To somebody who didn't know any better, it would appear that the shed was on fire It sort of is leaking this thin white cloud from all corners of it. And then you hear something else. You hear the loud roar of an enraged Romi. And the shed shakes with force as something smacks into the side of it closest to you. It's almost as if the shed shunts and the smoke coming out of the side of it billows quicker for a moment, as if you can see the shake outlined in the trace of the smoke that is drifting towards the sky. What do you do?
Are there any graves nearby?
Not on the campus, no. But what are you trying to do? Let's see if we can
I'm
help
looking
you.
for dead bodies.
Underneath the grounds of the university, probably. Just depends how far down they are.
We don't know what's going on in this shed exactly yet, right? Can M use premonition?
Okay. M wants to use premonition. Bing Bing wants to see if there are any bodies around. CT, what are you trying to do?
Are there any windows?
They're shuttered, but there are cracks in them, so you would be able to get close and take a look if you'd like to.
Yeah, I'm taking a sneaky peek.
Okay. And Finn.
Front door. Trying to open that front door.
Straight through? Okay.
Yeah.
That direct approach.
Okay. Let's deal with the rolls from M and Bing Bing first, and then we'll talk about what you guys see, CT and Finn. M, your premonition. I need you to give me a rouse check first.
Okay, is that just V1 or?
B1, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Hungrier. And then your premonition roll, which is your resolve and auspex. Bestial failure. Give me one more dice, please. Okay. As you try to focus on what's happening ahead of you and you try to zero in on exactly what might come next, you are startled to find that the blood that usually answers your call with glee, that usually rushes to your mind with pictures and sounds and smells and knowledge, instead only screams. It's as if the blood rushes from you and hides in the extremities of your fingers and toes. It will not do your bidding. And you are filled with terror. You are functioning under a paranoia compulsion. Until you have hidden somewhere that you deem to be safe for an hour, you are running on a 2 dice penalty. Bing Bing. You are looking for bodies. Give me, please, your wits and medical, but remember that with your dominance compulsion active, that will be at a 2 dice penalty.
So I would roll 3. Got it. Can I argue that I'm getting these? I want these bodies so that I can show a force when I show up for this.
Not in this case. When it comes to actually using them for that gloating maneuver, yes, but at this point, no. 1 success. You struggle to find what you're looking for, Bing Bing. You will maybe, do you think this is a distraction, or do you think this is a knowledge that what you're looking for is not here?
Knowledge.
Okay. You know that the bodies that you have the most ease of access to are in the morgue, which is a way away from here, and that getting to them would be, perhaps to your dominance compulsion riddled mind, not worth the effort. Why let something else do work that you could do with your own hands? CT. As you rush to the building and look through the cracks, you see Romi and Liam engaged in what looks like a terrible brawl. Romi has a large gash straight across her face, and despite not bleeding profusely on account of her kindred nature, she is at least bearing flesh raw underneath the skin of the side of her face. Liam looks haggard but determined. You see him twice return from the slamming blows she has rained on him with apparent glee. He seems to, as she bounces him against the wall, take it as if he's being trampolined straight back at her, and he does not stop. Finn, you rush straight to the door and push it open and witness this brawl happening. As you push open the door, you see what Liam is wielding, and he has a cluster of metal railroad spikes. He swings for her again, and seems to catch her off guard.
His back is towards me?
His back is towards you, and as you push the door open, it's that split second that Romi looks up at you, Finn, and Liam just seems to take her by surprise.
Okay.
This cluster of spikes goes colliding into the side of her face, and she, turning, spits teeth against the wall and turns, snarling, back to face him.
Can I take that time as he's punching her or hitting her for me to use my knuckles to go on the side of his head from the back?
You absolutely can.
And I'm looking at his shoulder, not this area.
Okay. So let me just go around and get some declarations, and then we'll handle some rolls. So Finn is in the open doorway and intends to just get straight onto Liam. CT, you're looking through one of the windows and you've seen this him sort of bounce off the wall and come straight back at her with this blow. What are you doing?
I'm going to whip round to the doorway as well, but I am going specifically to disrupt the ritual.
Okay. What I will take from you then, let me get all the declarations and I'll tell you rolls in a moment. That's the easiest way to do it, isn't it? So, M, with that premonition ringing through your mind or lack thereof, what are you trying to do?
Is there any point in trying to resolve the paranoia compulsion? Is it I have to be somewhere safe?
Somewhere that you deem to be safe for an hour.
Does it have to be a physical build? Can't I argue that I feel safe next to Finn?
Probably not while he's embroiled in a fight with Liam.
All right. Okay. Well, I don't know. I mean, I have my thigh knife. Could try to do something with that. Maybe lunge at Liam from a different angle.
Okay. Given where you're stood, you'll be moving into position before you can get close to him because you'll have to get into the building. Okay. So do you want to spend this turn trying to get into an advantageous position?
Sure, yes.
Okay. And Bing Bing, what are you trying to do?
Bing Bing's gonna go to the ritual and assess it and then take it apart.
Okay. So what we'll do then is Bing Bing and CT are both trying to disrupt the ritual. So shall we handle that as a collaborative role?
Yeah.
Okay.
But Bing Bing's not going to notice CT helping her. She's just going to be like, this is my domain.
Okay.
And I'm basically watching her movements and going, right, okay, she knows what she's talking about. Okay, scratch these bits. And
okay. What I'll need is your Dexterity and Occult. Bing Bing, you can take your Grave Rituals bonus here. Who of you has the highest pool? Bing Bing, what's your pool for Dexterity Occult?
6. And then I have Grave Rituals, which
That's-
put me at 7.
7, okay.
And mine's 6 with my extra cocaine dice.
With your extra cocaine dice. Perfect. So, Bing Bing will have you roll with that bonus dice from CT. Let's handle that first. 5 successes. Bing Bing, you at least recognize the key elements of a ritual when you see them. CT, you do as well. Regardless of what kind of ritual you're working on, there are some things that remain true regardless. The first is you must purify the space. You very quickly notice a small fire in the corner of the room, in which has been thrown a handful of incense sticks. A whole cluster of them has just been thrown straight into the fire. So the first thing that occurs to you is if you can find a way to smother those flames, not only will it make you immediately safer, but it will also disrupt this cleansing of the space. The second thing you notice looking inside is that there is a circle of powdered silver on the floor. You are very easily, with 5 successes, able to scatter that powder as much as you like. The only thing that worries you beyond that, Bing Bing, is that the other usual items that you'd expect to see for a resurrection ritual don't seem to be around. But as Liam goes to make his next move, which we will resolve shortly with Finn's roll, you spot something in his jacket pocket, which I will tell you about in a moment. Finn, you are swinging for Liam. Okay. Give me, please, your strength and brawl. Okay.
Aaron, Jesus, please.
Wow. All right. Give me one more dice, please, for that compulsion.
Oops, that's
That's
not
an
it.
update on the dice pot. Okay. Finn, your strike collides soundly, exactly as you want it to land, with the side of Liam's head. He, sort of like careening sideways from the blow, really snarls at you and sort of like struggles to keep his bearing for a moment. But then there is a glint of recognition, and that kind of surprise shifts almost immediately and changes to fury.
That's for M.
You managed to do okay. And you are using brass knuckles, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
Okay, wonderful. M, give me, please. You're looking for an advantageous position you can put yourself in. Give me, please, your resolve and streetwise. You've watched street brawls happen, and at this particular moment, you're racking your brains to remember something that you've seen happen before that you might be able to copy.
At a 2 dice penalty, does that mean a 2 at the end?
Just take 2 off the pool. So if your resolve and streetwise is 5, you'll be rolling 3 dice.
Got it.
1 success. With 1 success, you can add a bonus dice to your next action.
Okay.
and position yourself however you like. Bing Bing, as Finn lands this blow and Liam goes sort of careening sideways, his jacket flies open and you see the glint of a ritual knife strapped to his hip. And rather gruesomely, in his other hand, is a whole heart. The preserving fluid from it and the remnants of blood is seeping down his fingertips and down his wrist. Romi, with that blow, seems to be struggling to recover herself. She tries to push herself up from the floor, but like her hands, slick with blood of their own, are struggling to get purchase on the floor. She sort of stumbles slightly. CT, Bing Bing. Having disrupted what you can of this silver, having spotted this heart and the ritual knife and what you've seen of the incense in the corner, what would you like to do next? CT, let's start with you.
I will immediately take my shirt off, which I won't do on Twitch, and like put out all the fire. I'll do my best to put out the fire.
Okay.
Bing Bing's gonna lunge for the knife.
Okay. So, CT is going to try and put out the fire. Bing Bing is going to lunge for the knife. Finn, what are you doing?
That he's causing with taking his shirt off. Sorry. I'm gonna keep getting on top of this guy. So if it tilted him at all, I'd like to try to drop him to the floor, mount him, and then keep going.
Okay. And M, what are you trying to do?
I'm wondering, because Liam spoke to M, if I can maybe try to convince him that I'm actually on his side, but I'm not. And maybe distract him enough and then stab him in the eyes or something with my thigh knife.
Okay, interesting.
It's a lot, but...
Yeah, let's see how we can resolve that. Okay, so you've got your bonus dice from putting yourself into an advantageous position.
Mm-hmm.
What I'll say is, this round, it will be difficult for you to convince him that you're on his side and also attack, given especially that he's currently embroiled with Finn.
Okay.
What you can do, however, is while landing that blow, try and make it look like an accidental hit. So what I need from you is dexterity and subterfuge.
Me? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Dexterity and subterfuge.
We'll start there and I'll work backwards.
Okay. 5. Okay, because it's at a 2 dice penalty, right? Oh no, but I have an extra one, so it'll be 6. Okay.
2 successes, okay. Finn, do you want to roll me that strength and brawl? Then I can resolve Liam opposite both of you.
Right, I do.
Wow, 4 successes, okay.
I'm going for this area, by the way. Not looking at it, just going for it.
Just going for it, okay.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, you do the blurring with your eyes, so you kind of know where everything's at, but you're not directly looking at it.
He can't hurt us if he has no eyes.
Exactly. At least.
I mean, you're not wrong, you're not wrong. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna roll in the channel for you. Liam completely ignores M's approach. Her advantageous position has seen him basically focus in on Finn. He sort of doesn't notice M at all. And he, with that little flare of rage, Finn, as he sort of recognizes who you are and what you're doing, lunges towards you, dropping the railroad spikes in his hand with a clatter, and instead aiming straight at you with the familiar extended bones of fingers that you've seen Joshua do.
Okay, this is before I punched?
Simultaneously.
Okay.
Combat in Vampire is simultaneous. Everyone acts at once.
Then that punch is going right through. I'd like to, can I do rapid reflex to just kind of slowly move out of the way instead of going for a straight, I'm going for an overhand?
So rapid reflexes allows you to counter the penalties on not having cover when you're being fired at. It also allows you to take a minor action for free. So it doesn't really affect this attack, but it would let you, for example, move very slightly to allow, for example, M's attack to land, which in this case, it does. So although your attack goes very slightly wide, your reflexes and your drawing his attention have allowed M's shot to go straight through. M, your knife lands. Where do you get him?
On purpose. That was planned.
In the left eye.
Straight in the left eye. Wow.
The left one.
Savage.
Okay. As your
Atta girl.
blade plunges into his eye, you feel that pop and squelch of the blade sinking home into the eye socket.
I like it.
He roars in absolute anguish as you do this. Bing Bing, you are lunging to try and take the knife from his side. I need you, please, to make me a dexterity and brawl check.
Okay. Is this... Do I suffer the 2 dice?
You do.
But I'm trying to dominate him.
One success. Bing Bing, this kind of this flurry of activity happening around Liam makes it so difficult for you to grasp it. You manage to almost get your fingertips on the hilt, but as M pushes her knife home and Finn ducks out of the way, he twists so that it just moves out of your reach. CT, you're trying to put out the fire.
Put out the fire.
Which means, first and foremost, I need you to deal with the terror that comes with being close to fire.
Oh yeah. The fear.
As you approach, you feel the blood within you begin to scream and pull back. I need you, please, to make me a frenzy check at difficulty 2.
Remind me what I do for frenzy.
So it's your current willpower
Mm-hmm.
plus a third of your humanity rounded down.
Cool. I didn't get that willpower point back, did I?
No.
I can't remember how to do it, but that's cool.
So you've got 4 willpower and you're on humanity 6, so you'll roll 6 dice at difficulty 2.
Hey.
You succeed. What is how does CT brace himself against this? What does he tell himself?
Like, I think, like, as I take off my shirt and I'm like, and I'm like staring at the fire and I'm trying to get close to it, but I feel the beast like repelling against it, and then like a spark of the incense turns green, and it reminds me of Joshua when he first fed, and like that gives me the determination to push through the fear and just get the bloody thing out.
Okay. With that frenzy check out of the way, we can see if you manage to put this fire out. I need you please to make me a dexterity and survival check, and that will be at difficulty 2.
Ooh. Yeah. And then I get the extra dice because I'm still coked up.
Yes.
Glorious. The cocaine dice, my favorite type of dice.
You manage it. You smother the flames with your jacket, and sort of, besides the initial heat that is startling to your kindred nature, you do manage to push through, and choking out the flames, you do manage to smother them. The thick white incense that had filled the room is beginning to thin, and the room is becoming easier to see through. You, with this task completed, look back to see with her knife embedded into Liam's eye, Finn having darted to the side very slightly but still ready to strike, Bing Bing fumbling for something in Liam's jacket, and Romi weakening and stumbling against the floor, gasping for breath. CT, what do you do?
God damn it, CT. I'm gonna run over to Romi.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do exactly what I did with Joshua. So on the process, I'm gonna rip open my hand and shove my hand in her mouth, because I know she's a better fighter than I am.
Okay.
God damn it.
Finn, what are you doing?
Oh, seeing this,
well, at this point, you'll see CT sort of turning towards you, but you won't see him go for Romi just yet, because this is all simultaneous, so it all happens at the same time as whatever you do. Oh, the knife. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna use my hand to jam that further into his head.
Whew. Okay.
Watch out, Em! Open hand.
Okay, Em, what are you doing?
Simultaneous. Okay, so I don't know that Finn has done that yet, right?
You don't know.
I give a quick warning.
Maybe I want to knee him in the stomach.
Okay.
While I have my hand on the knife and I'm just jamming it in there, and I'm just gonna go for a good, I've seen this before. I got this.
Okay. Bing Bing, what are you doing?
Can I go for the knife again? I just want to make sure he doesn't have anything sharp or pointing on him left over.
Yeah, okay. Let's,
Ooh, actually, I'd like to slap the heart out of his hand. Almost insultingly.
Yeah, perfect. Yes. Would you like to add a gloating statement so you don't have to take the penalty?
Yes, I would love that. Maybe as Bing Bing slaps at his hand. Who do you think you are? Weird, green-eyed, smelly man.
Okay. Let's resolve that one first, Bing Bing. Give me, please, it'll be a dexterity and brawl check.
Can I argue it's melee because I'm slapping him?
That would be exactly why it's brawl, because you're not using a weapon. Melee is with a weapon.
Oh. Someday I'll get dexterity in melee.
One of these days.
Yeah, one of these days.
I'm gonna slap him into next week. With this many successes, I'm gonna say I slapped him into next week. Maybe I slapped the heart out of his hand and then kept going to his face.
The next century.
Like a roundhouse, just a roundhouse.
I had just...
Okay.
Think you can use Hakata rituals without Hakata magic? Absolutely ridiculous. You're supposed to be ministry. Don't you have a brain anymore?
Okay. With 6 successes, you absolutely are able to send that heart careening out of his hand and clattering towards the floor. It's, it functions essentially as a cold shot. You've managed to get that heart down. How far away do you think you hit this heart?
Out the door.
Out the door, okay. The heart bouncing across the floor, leaving this sort of little splash pattern as it goes. Em and Finn, let's deal with yours next. Em, I need you please to give me your, it will be dexterity and brawl, please.
At a 2 dice penalty, so
At a 2 dice penalty.
that.
Nothing, okay.
Yeah.
And Finn, given that you're trying to jam this knife home, is this a strength or a dexterity hit for you?
I think it's dexterity. I'm trying to push it in further
Okay.
in.
Give me your dexterity brawl, please.
Copy.
Okay. And I again will roll against you here. Liam and Finn are basically just matching each other move for move. As you go to land this blow home, Finn, Liam turns away and just snarling at you. No damage dealt in either direction, however, he just moves out of the way. CT, you approach Romy.
Does the heart come flying in front of my face as I'm moving over to Romy, or is that the different side of the room?
It will be just after we're happening simultaneously, and it's going the other way. Romy's in the back corner. The heart's been smacked towards the door, so it won't go
That's why I was
towards you.
trying to work out when things happened at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Sorry,
And
Romy. You need to heal up, babes.
Okay. There is something particular and curious about the curse that afflicts the Banner Hakim. They are known to make exceptionally good and ruthless sheriffs because of their drive to feed from those they believe are deserving of punishment. CT, as you press your wrist to Romy's mouth, she almost tries to protest. But as her tongue touches the vitae that you are pushing forth, something else happens, and her expression shifts from one of weak resignation to a kind of focus that leads you to be concerned. She latches on, both hands gripping your wrist fast and pulling your flesh as deep into her mouth as she can manage. And she begins to gorge herself on you. You feel that pull as the vitae begins to drain from your veins. Romy is under the effects of her clan bane, a hunger frenzy brought on by the taste of kindred vitae. Bing Bing, Finn, CT. The heart has clattered from Liam's hand and is headed towards the door. Liam himself seems to be meeting his match in Finn in particular, and M's assistance is doing all the damage here. And CT is faced with a new problem, a frenzying kindred attached to his wrist. Bing Bing, what would you like to do?
I'm going to gesture to Finn and M. Handle Liam, don't let him up. And then I'm going to try to tackle Romy.
Okay.
With my clutch.
Okay.
Dexterity melee?
Oh, I see what we're doing here. Okay. M, what are you going to do?
I wasn't able to knee him successfully or anything, right?
No, you failed that roll, unfortunately, so you didn't manage to land that.
Is there anything around the room that I could find to try to tie him down with?
You can spend this turn looking if you would like to.
I'm thinking.
Is the knife still in his eye? Or
Yeah, I'm wondering if I
hands?
should. I should remove the thief. And does his eye come out with it? Because I would really like that.
Let's see how this roll turns out, shall we? So you're going to try and pull the knife from his eye.
Yeah, I want his eye as a souvenir.
Lovely.
Just wrap it in his hair and put it in your pocket.
Finn, what are you trying to do this round?
I want to tackle this boy to the ground.
Okay. And CT, you are currently being grappled, which means at the moment you're going to need to try and pull yourself free. So I'm afraid I can't give you a choice this round.
Can I speak, though?
You can speak.
I'm gonna shit, I forgot about this. And then I'm gonna say, bring him over here. And I'm gonna try and put, because she's grabbed my arm, hasn't she?
Mm-hmm.
I'm basically gonna put both of my feet on her shoulders, getting ready to rip my arm away from her and let her go towards. But the plan is to try and push her towards Mr. Green Eyes. And just
I will be tackling Liam in their direction.
Okay.
I'll be hitting Romy with my clutch in Liam's direction.
Okay. Let's deal first then with the situation happening with Romy. Bing Bing, you are attempting to sling your clutch at Romy, correct? I
feel like I want to use instead maybe my heel and like I'll kick her in that direction, or would that...
Like you've taken off your heel and you're going to hit her with it?
No, the clutch is better. It's sharper, I think. Yeah, use the clutch.
Okay. Well, you'll be thrilled to know that yes, I would love you please to do me a dex and melee roll.
With pleasure.
Fab, okay.
My astronomical amount of dexterity in melee.
CT, I need you to give me strength and brawl, please.
Can I add potence?
Which potence are you trying to add?
I have lethal body.
Then no. No, lethal body is like a damage modifier. It's not additional dice, unfortunately.
Then found it. Okay. In which case, I am going to blood surge because I think her strength is much better than mine. Which is just one dice from it, if I remember.
Yep, just one dice.
So I get hungrier, which isn't great. But I still get the points, do I not?
You do. You can still take the bonus dice.
Cool. So strength and brawl, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Ooh. Oh, good God.
Okay. So, CT. Romy's hold on you is fast, and even with Bing Bing bearing down on her from the side, the blow seems to be nothing more than a minor irritation to the mind of this frenzying kindred. She twists, taking the strike from Bing Bing as if it is absolutely nothing. She doesn't even seem to flinch from it, and instead her fangs twist and tear at your arm. She rakes her teeth up your forearm and continues to sort of like suck up and towards your elbow. I need you please to take me 2 points of aggravated health damage from the damage that fangs do. Finn, let's have a look at what's going on with Liam at the same time. If you're attempting to pull that knife free, I need you please to make me a dexterity and melee roll. And Finn, attempting to tackle Liam down, I need strength and brawl from you, please.
I'm gonna do prowess so I can add another dice or my potence rating to my dice roll. So do I do my rouse check first and then do it, or?
Yes. So I need you to do your rouse check first.
Okay.
Okay. So you do get hungrier, but we will add your potence rating to the damage you deal. So you don't get any extra dice. It's that it adds damage afterwards.
I see. Okay. Wolf, this is rough. Maybe I should eat.
One success. Okay. Liam once again completely ignores M. He swings towards you, Finn, with alarming accuracy for a man using only one eye, given that he's accustomed to having two. He slams these claws straight into the side of you. And you feel this kind of like piercing but blunt piercing impact hit the side of your ribs. I need you, please, from taking damage from feral weapons, to take me 4 superficial health damage.
Okay. This boy's strong. I think that excites Finn a little bit.
Okay. So, Bing Bing, CT, you are dealing definitely with a frenzy in Kindred. The blows that you've managed to rain on her seem to be doing nothing. And you know from that damage itself will not deter her. You need to get her off, and you need to get her subdued as quickly as possible. What would you like to do?
I'd like to drag her to Liam by the hair.
Okay.
Maybe that'll also bring CT. I don't care. The whole lot. Just carry them all over.
Okay.
And I'm probably gonna do exactly what I did last time. Just try and force my way off her.
Okay. Let's resolve this while we're here, and then we'll swap back over to what's happening with Liam, with Finn and M. Guys, are you happy with that? Or do you want to go all the way around? Is there anything that you want to do to help here? No? Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
I'm fixated.
So Finn, I need that strength. Finn. CT, I need that strength and brawl roll, please.
Can I wait until we get over to...
First. Right.
Yeah.
It will
can we
happen
get-
simultaneously, so
of course.
it'll all be at the same time.
Just remembering what my thing is.
I also need you, CT, given Romi's attachment to you at the last round, that damage dealt. I need you, please, to go up 1 hunger point.
Oh yeah, no, I did as soon as
Okay.
she latched on,
Okay.
because I knew what was coming.
Wow, very nice. And Bing Bing, I need you also, please, to give me your strength and brawl.
Can I do a blood surge? I'm only at hunger.
You absolutely
1.
can, yeah. So it's a single dice to rouse, and then you can add those bonus dice to your roll.
Do you want hunger dice there?
Wow.
Worth.
Very nice, guys, very nice. Let's see how she does opposite you.
Come on, RNG.
You succeed.
Nice.
Bing Bing manages to drag Romi kicking to the other end of the room, and CT, she dislodges.
I think it's worse than that. Like, I just pull my arm out and she's still got a bit of my arm in her mouth.
Yeah.
When like I just
Maybe,
pull,
like-
it's easier to try and dislodge my own flesh than it is to try and dislodge her more.
Maybe
Yeah.
as they come apart, that's when I grip onto the back of her head and just grab a fistful of her hair and just start dragging her across the way and try to point her at Liam.
Okay. And at the same time, Finn and Em are battling with Liam. What are you doing this time, guys? Finn.
I'm still going for a different. I'm just going for that tackle, but I'm really pushing him towards
Okay.
Romi.
Okay. So Finn is trying to tackle him towards Romi. You can, if you would like, we can call this a cold shot. What that means is, instead of it being a contested roll, we'll deal with it as a difficulty rating. And if you succeed, you change what's happening in the fight. So for example, the cold shot that Bing Bing did earlier was to knock the heart out of his hand and send it towards the door. If you would like to use a cold shot to put Liam within Romi's grasp, we can do that.
I would love to.
Okay. So let's just check in with Em quickly about what she wants to do as well. And then we'll look at this. So Em, what's your intention here?
Given that I'm at a 2 dice penalty and haven't been very useful, I'm wondering if I should use things that I'm better at, maybe persuasion or awe. Can I try to convince Liam to move towards Romi so that Romi can feed on him instead? Or
it would be difficult to convince or persuade him at this point. You have just stuck a knife in his eye, so he's probably not keen to listen to your advice.
no, he's ignoring me, so I don't. Can I try something again with the knife then? Can I try pulling it out again?
You could if you wanted to.
Okay.
Because Em is very good at scaring people away.
Right.
So if you'd like to, we could try and use Daunt to see if you can make him back up into Romi's direction.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So, Finn, with your cold shot, you will roll as normal. We'll take successes off the number. And if you succeed, you'll manage to achieve what you're trying to do. What we'll do is we'll roll Em's Daunt first, because she might make this easier for you if she's also pushing him in that direction.
Right.
So, Em, I need you please to give me
Kinda on you.
Daunt would be, give me your manipulation intimidation with your Daunt bonus. And that is still at a 2 dice penalty. So I think it kind of just evens out a little, doesn't it?
Yep. At hunger 3.
3 successes, okay. I will roll him against you to see how he resists that. And then from that we can determine how successful Finn will be.
Yep.
Ooh. Okay. Let's find out what compulsion Liam suffers with. Okay. What did you say to Liam in that moment?
Does this work? I rolled 3 successes, right?
Against his 6. No, it does not work.
It does not work. Okay, yeah, there we go. Probably something really just off the cuff, like, got something for you over here.
Okay.
I'm thinking on her feet. It just doesn't work. It's
Okay. Finn, give me that strength and brawl roll, please.
Let's do it. Am I? What's the difficulty?
No difficulty, it'll be
Or just
contested.
no difficulty. Contested.
2 successes.
How do I? Alright.
Finn, he slams his claws into the side of you again.
Oh, is there a way? Can I willpower to...
You can do a willpower reroll. Yeah. So you click that single dot, it will reroll 2 dice in this instance. So it would still be a fail potentially unless you get a double crit.
Worth a shot.
Okay. He still hits you.
Yeah.
You did, however, minimize damage taken, so not necessarily not worth it. I need you please to take me another 4 superficial damage as these claws slam back into the side of you again.
So how does this work?
So your
My
superficial
health.
damage is marked by dashes.
Right.
When you've filled up your track with superficial, it becomes aggravated and you start to cross it off.
Got it. Alrighty.
So
Lines.
I'll show you what I mean. So, oh, that is not a...
That's not what I'm...
Are you on aggravated damage now?
Yes, I am.
Oh boy. Okay.
Indeed.
I need you, please, to make me a frenzy check.
That's just a single die?
Frenzy check is your remaining willpower plus 1/3 of your humanity rounded down. But also with brewer blood, you take a further dice out of that pool, as resisting frenzy is very hard for someone of your bloodline.
So that's a 3 die. Right? Because humanity, I've got 4, but no willpower left.
1/3 of your humanity rounded down, so you are rolling
So 1.
two dice to resist this frenzy.
All right. Isa.
Ooh. Ooh.
You just managed to keep yourself under control. Wow. Just managed to keep yourself under
The
control.
Bruja with the most will, ha.
Hey.
Whoa.
You, as this searing pain hits your side and the beast really snarls within you to take this man down, you manage to keep calm enough to stay steady, and you notice something. For all his determination, he is faltering, and Romi's hunger has her growling not far from him. CT, what would you like to do?
I'm behind Romi.
With Bing Bing's hand still on Romi's hair, I believe.
I am going to straight up just double kick her in the back towards Liam. Just flying double kick. Just full on. I saw Finn do it once. I saw him do it once in a car park, and suddenly I'm like, I can do that in my cowboy boots. Let's go.
Okay.
I can't wait for this to go wrong.
Okay. Let's stick with you and Bing Bing for now and resolve that side of the conflict, and then we'll come back over to Finn and Em again.
Bing Bing's going to keep dragging Romy by the hair.
Okay. So we've got Bing Bing and CT are attempting to drag Liam and Romy together, or force them together, let's, Finn, Em, is there a similar motivation from you guys?
Yep.
How do we feel about one collective fight-ending coterie roll?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because
That sounds like a
Bing Bing
great plan.
probably knows that the Banu Hakim's bane is that they need to feed on someone they think is bad, a naughty child. Liam is definitely on Romy's shit list.
Yeah, for sure. What I need from you guys then, please, is your strength and brawl with the largest pool.
F5.
I will let you make this roll in 2 parts. 2 of you will be working on Romy, and 2 of you will be working on Liam. We will split into your 2 largest pools. So, CT, what is your strength and brawl?
So my strength at the is. Do I still have the extra 2 dice from the blood surge earlier?
No, you have to resurge if you want to do that again.
What's my hunger at? I could go
It's
for some
82.
more. Let's research. Why
Okay,
not?
so if you were to surge, because we'll work on hypotheticals in those two pools for now. So if you were
Okay,
to
so
surge,
if I was
what
to
would your pool
surge, my strength and brawl would be 7.
be? 7. Okay.
And +1 from me.
Well, we're dealing with who's got the largest pool first, and then we'll split that down. So it
You would
would
have the
be
largest
CT's would be 7. Strength and brawl from Finn. What would that be?
Oh.
I'd be 6, but
Okay.
if I got M's knife, I would do strength and melee, and I would do 7.
Okay.
If I used it as an anchor to toss him that way.
Okay. M, what is your strength and brawl?
1.
Oh, M. Okay. Bing, bing. What's yours?
My strength and brawl is 5. With a blood surge would make it 6.
Okay.
However, if I use my heels to also kick her, I could do melee and dexterity, which puts me at an 8, blood surge 9.
Yeah, okay. You know what?
Yeah, okay.
Let's do it. Let's do it. This is Bing Bing's wheelhouse. She's been dying for this all Chronicle. 2
I put
separate
an
rolls.
extraordinary amount in my fighting for whatever reason.
2 final rolls. 1 from Bing Bing with an extra dice from M. 1 from Finn with an extra dice from CT. Let's deal with this in 2 halves, because I will roll back and we'll see how that goes. Do we want to deal with Romy or with Liam first?
Romy.
Let's do Romy
Okay.
first.
Okay, Bing Bing and M. Give me your roll.
Just the 1?
Well, Bing Bing with your bonus.
Okay. Good luck, Bing Bing.
Okay, so I'm rolling 1 to blood surge.
Yep.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, hungrier,
Right.
but that's okay.
We don't need that. That's fine.
It's cool. We'll go eat some bodies later. Okay, so I'm doing 9, but then I have CT's help.
You have 1 from M, so take bonus from M. So you're
1
rolling a
from
dice
M.
pool of 10.
10, hunger 3. What?
Willpower?
Willpower.
Wow.
Wait. Before you willpower, I'm gonna boot and rally.
Boot and rally, very nice. Okay, so
You can just redo
I
that
can
roll without
click the dot?
using willpower.
how much of that does it let you re-roll? Boot and rally
Jesus.
allows you to
1?
re-roll all. Well, no, that was not the correct re-roll. So hold on a second. You can re-roll every single regular dice on that failed test. So it's not a willpower re-roll. It is a roll of the ones that you already failed. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 failed dice. 6 failed dice because you take the regular, not the hunger. So I need you to roll me another 6 dice, please. No hunger, just exclamation
hunger.
B6. 3 successes. So we've got a total of 4 successes from Bing Bing. Okay. I'll tell you how Romy did in a minute. CT and Finn. Give me your roll against Liam.
Rolling. Lauren, Jesus just hates us right now.
Okay.
Out of 8 rolls.
We're all
4 of
getting
you-
hungrier, that's why.
The 4 of you, in that moment, something clicks. Maybe the pulling together of this coterie wasn't quite as random as it seemed at first, because in this moment you work in perfect unison. The 4 of you tugging on limbs, pushing from behind, screaming at each other to get into place, pull the hunger frenzying Banu Hakim straight on to the open wound at Liam's face. She tumbles ravenous on top of him, and despite his protests, you see the well-muscled, strong arms of Romy holding him exactly in place as his kicks become weaker and weaker. And finally, he begins to wither. What would you like
Can I
to
get a
do?
nibble? Should I?
Can I get a nibble?
I'm gonna take the ritual knife away. Just gonna... So take it away.
Okay.
What are we doing with that heart? That doesn't look like
Out the front door. It's at the front door.
Stand
Someone
on it.
step on
Squish
it.
it. Should we step on it?
Could someone dispose of the heart? Just eat it or step on it. I don't care.
Then I
Yeah, I feel
grab
like
my
it's-
knife back from his eye. I just take it out now with ease.
Careful.
Yeah.
She might bite you.
Yeah.
I'm very careful. I take it out. I lick it. I put it back in my thigh.
What heart is that? Is it human heart? I don't want to. I feel like I shouldn't eat this. Otherwise, I'm gonna
Step
get,
on it. Just squash it. Get rid of it.
But it's also a waste to step on it, right?
Are you going to eat
I
it?
think we should probably
No.
leave this
Okay.
place and shut the door until Romi's calmed down. That seems like a
Alright,
really
cool.
good idea.
Good idea.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
step on the heart and then walk.
Is there any other ritual implements here? Is there any other signs that there's a ritual going on? Like we had the circle, we had the incense, I took the knife.
The silver, right? There was the
Silver
We
powder has been
scattered it.
kicked.
God,
silver
that's
has
good.
been kicked. Fire's
And
been
now-
lit.
Nothing else that you saw, no.
DT, do you
I did
see any
roll very
wards?
well.
Any residue?
And everything
Spirits,
seems to be
wraiths?
breaking apart, so I think we're pretty much all right. Breaking at the seams, old school styly. Now I really don't want to be
should
around
stay
when
close.
she's
Yeah.
drank her fill.
Is my Dommy mommy pre-draw thing, is it still going? Have I properly dominated him?
Have you gloated?
And as Bing Bing
Teabag,
walks
teabag.
away, you thought you could make a ritual in front of Hekata?
Very nice. Yes, your dominance compulsion subsides.
Can I find safety near Finn now? Since we're all kind of, would that help with my paranoia compulsion?
Yeah.
You can
is
help
that
me
what you-
walk out of here because I'm bleeding my guts
yeah.
out.
You definitely need help. Yeah, let me just get that for you. And I just take his arm around me, and he's helping me more than I'm helping him, but he doesn't really realize it.
We literally all exit and just shut the door. Like lean against it and just fire.
It is
Fucking hell, what a night.
It is a small amount of time before the blood-drenched and tattered sheriff steps out of the building. She wipes her mouth on the back of her arm and sort of like casts off the excess vitae straight onto the floor with a kind of look almost of triumphant disgust, if that makes sense. Like, that was truly awful, and she's very glad she did it. She looks up at you all, and a small smile tugs at the corner of her mouth. She rolls down her shirt sleeves to cover the mess around her wrists, and with a smile says, "Not quite as easy a scrap as I'd hoped for, but a rather satisfying end, don't you think? Now, I believe I had a matter to discuss with the prince on your behalf, Charles. I think I can put in a glowing recommendation."
Much appreciated, thank you.
And for our coterie, have we succeeded?
I think you'll be very pleased with the kind of friendship you can get from a sheriff in peril. And she turns towards the building and says, "You better come with me. I think we're a little late for the ceremony." She leads you back towards the room, not making too much of an effort to cover up the blood stains on her own clothing. And as you approach the main hall of the Elysium, she pushes the doors wide. The room, now much more full, turns to look with no small degree of shock at the state of the woman walking amongst them. She strides down the center of the hall, barefoot, bloody, and proud. And when she reaches the front of the stage, she bows low. A man sat at the center of the stage gives her a small nod, and she turns with one sweeping arm gesture to present the four of you walking behind her. I would like to introduce everybody present to the new coterie of the University of Birmingham. They have certainly proven their worth over the past 3 nights, and I very much look forward to working with them in future. I apologize for the impromptu declaration on their behalf, but were it not for their intervention this evening, I doubt many of us would have made it through the night. And such action deserves public and loud recognition. Finn, as you stand behind the sheriff, looking over the room, you spot Anne stood close to the stage in a hushed conversation with a pair of men. He watches as you approach one of them, the closest, with a shock of white hair, hand extended, and you notice the familiar glint of a coin in his right hand extended towards her. The man stood next to him turns to face you directly and begins to button up the front of his coat. 7 individual buttons, each in the shape of a crow's head. Outside of Elysium, under a low bridge over a canal, there's a slight rain and drizzle that offers any passing foot traffic a frame in which 2 figures stand highlighted by the moonlight. One, a large man wearing a furred bomber jacket with his collar turned up against the elements, look up at his conversational partner from the barge he stood on, apparently held still simply by one massive leg that he keeps on the paved platform. The man on dry land cuts a much sleeker figure. He looks down. We can ramp things up significantly, Bradley, if you can handle the capacity. The slim man's voice slithers out in a whisper and his body gives away nothing but stillness. It's not us causing you any grief, Mucker, it's the ivory fuckers. Putting rules down. Near every canal round here is watched, save the basin, since that Tremere bitch died. He runs a large fist across his forehead. We can house your people and put them to work, but if they get caught, it's all up. The slim man inhales sharply. I'm well aware of the stakes at play. I'm just asking if you have capacity. We will handle the logistics. He remains perfectly and unnervingly still. Aye, capacity we have. The large man hangs his head slightly, resigned to the other man's clear dominance. Wonderful. Be prepared then. The slim man leans forward and a third arm slips from out of the coat, grasping the man's knee. He smiles, fangs glinting in the light from the moon, 2 on the top, 3 on the bottom. The corpse train will not be stopped. Thank you for watching Season 1, ladies and gentlemen. That's the end of our episode.